Alright, hello everyone, my name is Disc. This is a 20 Algeth'ar Academy for the win. So I have timed this key already. I was doing it again just for a little sport and to update my channel. I think the last one was a 19. So a lot of this key, I try to just DPS, to be honest.
4, 3, 2, 1.
PI is going to the Death Knight more than most. Focusing on uptime with our
4,
penitents.
3, 2, 1.
And featuring better Blizz plates for the win. Yeah, great add-on. Been working with the add-on author to help keep things really clean for us. Mainly to help us see our dot spread. And going into this first poll, I'm trying to have a 10 stack of Palm and a double stack of Harsh Discipline. And I try and do that before a lot of keys. So the coordinated kill target is the Lasher on the left. My first two casts on open are Dot and Penance. So his bark skin is ending. Pain Sup woven in. I'm definitely trying to spend a couple of globals getting natural dots out. And this was... I'm not sure if that was good or not, but a defensive uppie straight into the tank. His health didn't move, so maybe that was successful. But we have one Paints Up left. Just queued Evangelism quite late. That gives us good coverage here. Second Paints Up. And really, not a problem. But we timed this key with a minute to go. We have 0 deaths. And I take 0 ticks of avoidable damage, which is hard to do. So it's a really clean run. A really easy watch. And this sets the pace. So on open here, I do like to play one Mind Blast just for the uptime, just for the damage. Pair it with a Radiance for the extra bolts. And just DPS as hard as I can. And coming up for this branch out, I like to play my Fade as late as I can. And immediately switch targets to the branch. Change my focus, ping it to kill. Desperate Prayer and Evangelism. And then when I can, I hold that Void Shield until after the bleeds go away. And now, before the party was covered. But Radiance has a reaction. And just keep attacking the boss. So in that little transition phase, it's not uncommon for someone to pull aggro, so something I am thinking about is being on kind of like high alert for anyone who highlights red as if they've pulled aggro or something. Highlights green with a poison. So yeah, high alert to be able to react and help them. But here comes our next branch. Attack him the best you can. We don't really have any spells to counter with that one, but we're alright. So I like to Fade. Yep, just got it in time. I believe that was a really fat precast on top of the attack. I consider that kind of like a practice that, I would say any healer should try to do sometimes. A quick recovery of health like that is good. And just side note, with is the add-on Voodoo casting bar. Put my target's cast bar right above my own, and I use that as my tool to help me precast on top of attacks. Void shield after the bleeds, fade before the adds. I just got uppies. Radiance. Uppies with a death on the way up. And we're going to my favorite mob in the game. This is, yeah, all we're doing on this guy, practicing our DPS rotation. Not too much to it. Obviously high importance not to take a death here. Can't have silly deaths. And pretty much just every 20 seconds when I have Mind Blast, I pair it with a Radiance. And then I give a big penance into the enemy. On his nameplate, I'm tracking this timer just in case I want to make a run to the other side. Yeah, eventually I'm gonna like run the gauntlet, if you will. Make my way to the other side because that is where we're headed. Giving void shields to the tank. I'll probably run after this. Or not. There's the run. So we have PI. The next pull is 0 on the threat scale, but we can get a PI on it. So my focus is PI out and get dot spread, roll Mind Blast, roll penance. And to do that on a pack like this, I do spend a couple extra globals just casting dots, just to get them covered. Throw paints up there. He had a high stack on him, and I had a 2 stack of paints up. Pretty free if you have a 2 stack. 50% mana. So attack the big bird. We're watching for this. I believe it will interrupt you. Don't quote me on that. I'm always just too scared anyway. Maybe if someone could let me know. I think these actually don't interrupt. The boss does. Something like that. So, essentially, well, you could practice pre-casting on top of this attack too. Okay. So I like finding my 2 dot penance, fall back to my focus. Now I have both of the big ones dotted. Couple globals with more dots. Okay. So I'm playing a lot of my penance as attacks. It's only key moments where I play it defensively. Like this is a 20, I would say this is substantially hard. This isn't the 1% bracket, I believe. But, oh no, I guess it it goes to show that we're so reliant on our shadow mends. You know, we always have those in the bank, basically, allowing us to attack with our penance. It's a little bit of an odd gameplay if you ask me, and I think I'd have to read all the blue posts together, but I think we're getting away from that. We might be able to play Voidweaver. So, a task I always think about out of combat is stacking palms. So right now we have 2 10 stacks. We have 14. And we do want to pair Mind Blast against the Screech. Fades and Desperate Prayers against the Screech. And there's really nothing to worry about until the last couple of rounds. So you can play Evangelism early if you'd like, or Desperate Prayer early if you'd like. Potentially, depending on how defensives are played, some defensive penance into your allies might be necessary. But as far as the uppies goes, it really sucks, but I think this is the best way to do it. We have it available here at the start of the fight. A couple of defensive penance. The fight is not 4 minutes long, and I find it's best to have an uppies at the end of the fight. So I just accept some loss here. Potentially, I could have gotten one more round of uppies if my very first one was played sooner. But to time a key, it is what it is. And I take this thing back here. I see no one going for it. I don't know. It was lining up with my attack for the Screech, so I thought, well, hell, I guess I'll just take it. Playing a Flash Shield to cue my damage reduction. And if I had to guess, my next play is Desperate Prayer. In between these attacks, that's kind of all I'm thinking is what's my next play. I want to be prepared mentally with a plan. Yep, Desperate Prayer and Fade. And I kind of just make a decision. If I don't have any Shadow Mends, I'll need a defensive penance. If I have Shadow Mends, I'll use those with an offensive penance. Really, can't wait to play Voidweaver. Okay, we do have PI. And we want to cue it on the ding. Bloodlust is out. Here's the phase. And as a DPS priest, I want to play a Mind Blast with a really fat penance. You get like one of them. 2 if you're lucky. So, Evangelism preceding the Screech. I would say the latter half of this, you have to play kind of ahead of the attacks. And that's because we're all ticking down in general. So here comes the next Screech. I'll play my uppies ahead of the attack. And I want to play it just right. And a practice I started doing is playing Fade with my uppies too. It's kind of because, like, why not? Oh, he got lucky. I just healed him. And GG. Tricky boss, but I definitely think holding uppies is kind of just what you have to do. There's potential to get one more uppies if you play your first one sooner, I think. But it's kind of like whatever. We time with a minute to go. So the avoidable damage, looking at the Death Knight. So this was polite. Green to go. But they stopped for my mana. Sorry, we have 0 deaths. We're doing good. I can work with something, but I can't work with nothing. And I have a flop here. Thankfully, it doesn't mess anyone up. I play a keybind that I retired. My Shadow Meld keybind. So when I'm picked with this big attack, I hit my old keybind and nothing happened. Not this one. But I get a redemption moment later with my meld. Made me feel good. I hope someone noticed it. So let's see. I think it's the next attack. Okay, while Paints Up is out, I spent a global casting a dot. I think that's a fair play. Okay, here it is. I picked. Shit. Okay. So you have to pick up the recovery. I play both my defensives and a potion. Honestly, needed all of it. I'm getting all of these attacks. But it kind of makes me wonder how that play would have gone, how much better it would have gone if I didn't fumble my meld keybind. Oh well. Fresh upon. Big palms. 40% mana. And I think we even fat here, so it's crazy we had a minute to go on the when we won, because we spend like 20 seconds here farming his Incarn. But I put a couple spells out, make sure they're both dotted, Atone, and then I meld Drink. So he farms Incarn, I farm mana. So PI is also farmed. We're at 5 seconds. And I heard Ellesmere's talking about that lock-in mode. I love that when you turn a handful of elements off while in combat. You turn a lot off in combat. So this is a big pull. Important it goes right. Our fear can contribute in a major way. I believe that was an overlap. But I'm watching the cast on screen above target. I have them all displayed right there. I just aim to get more than one. So if there's like 2 or 3 casting. But a pull like this, pretty spiky, so I like to counter that with a lot of dots out. So where I can, I'm casting extra dots here. I have a little bit of mana to give. I have uppies. So I always wonder, like, how long have I sat on uppies? Yeah, I'm picked with this. Really not playing around. This is more deadly than the start of the boss, so that was both defensives. The late Paints Up on the tank just to get through all of this. Might have been overkill, and now we have 0 Paints Ups. So, I guess kind of what I'm thinking as far as planning ahead. I have to be spot on with my base spells. So precast where I can, holding Mind Blast for when it counts, defensive penance, personals, etc. So let's see how the first explosion plays out. 0 deaths. Tracking 2 spells with bigwigs, the fissure and the bombs. Every other bomb is stronger because of the fissure. So if I'm picked, immediately play a fade. I'm not. I remember doing that, so I think necessary. But I played Evangelism before the fissure. But I think it's fine because of luck. I don't know. Okay, but we do have PI. I guess what I was hoping would happen there and I'm trying to get in better habit of this too, is Evangelism, although it may only be a 15-second buff, it does give you a free Radiance. Defensive Penance, where you really needed it. So yeah, in that fissure, I had a really nice instant Radiance I could have given, and I was watching it kind of hoping I would play it, but I didn't. And we were all low. Okay, so I'm picked. Fade before the fissure. Okay, so the next bomb is more of a breather. Let's see how I take it. Radiance ahead of time. Fade and a defensive penance. Really loving these nameplates. Okay, so here comes an overlap. I was selected. I fade. Desperate Prayer was active as well. Evangelism. And I hope I had a shield on. So, like a last-ditch attempt defensive, even if you don't have a void shield, always count in just a regular shield before a hit like that. Especially if you also have like fade running, things like that. Paints up. Fade as well. Health didn't even move. So we did just get PI, but we are going to have a very substantial next pull. A little bit of reservation here is going to do us good. Just playing DPS, and we also have uppies. So I think this is where I get my redemption. I meld off one of these jumps, focusing the Ravager. All of my smites funnel to my focus. I kind of like that. And I would say the only thing that's going to kill you here is forgetting there's a frontal. So anytime he jumps, that's all I'm thinking about. Okay, we just had the gather. I uppies the first one instead of meld. I really need to cast PI. Okay, quite a bit late, but a lot was happening. And there was my meld. So the first one was uppies just to get it rolling. And as luck would have it, I was picked twice. Melded the second. There's my redemption. Cast a dot. Okay, so I picked again. Fade and Desperate Prayer. And just focus on dot spread, really. Executes where you can. I have been trying to do better with executes, especially since I feel like my nameplates are exactly where I want them to be. And one of those reasons is to see executes better. So I have been trying to play executes more and be a better priest, but they just kind of, they don't do much, I feel like. Okay, so this last pull, quite high chance for death. What am I trying to say? It's a little bit of a hard pull, and I feel like timing is everything. And I have my UI honed through this area, only making noises for the arcane explosion. Is that what it's called? So this pull, not a problem. But the next pull, yeah, the arcane smash. So the next pull, where we have 4 of these, very important to pay attention to that cast and delay your spells as much as you can. So delay your fade, delay your Desperate Prayer, delay your evangelism. and really focus on dodging overhealing. So we have 2 charges of penance. We can use those with intention and using them, to avoiding overhealing. Mind Soothe for good measure. Okay. A Desperate Prayer running through all of the attacks, but I also put on a Pain Sup just to be extra careful and keep us all alive for now. I have 1 Pain Sup left. I think we're in a good spot here. Still gotta watch out for these smashes. That was a delayed fade to cover through all of the attacks. Defensive penance. Void shields. And we're doing pretty good. So we have 1 Pain Sup left. I think it'd be fair to play here. I'm not sure how I do this here at the end. A defensive penance. Whoa. Okay. So we got lucky. 5 minutes, 1 second. Refresh a palm. Drink. Radiance the closest person, getting an 80-yard range heal. And all I think about through this boss is DPS. So play DPS Priest. And I track 1 spell with Bigwigs, the Power Vacuum. That's where you can get killed. So you always have to think about when it's coming. And be in a position not to get hit. A lot of times I like to play Body and Soul before we're gripped. I think the next Power Vacuum, I counter it with an Uppies. But all through here I just think about playing DPS, giving Void Shields to anyone with like a 2 stack on the debuff. You can Pain Sup before the Magic Dispel if you have them to give. And Uppies saved me on that one. Evangelism, I think, is pretty free to play whenever you just feel like it. And Mind Blast, I would say very important to play Mind Blast on cooldown. Play DPS Priest the best you can. Paints up the Death Knight. So it could have been overkill, but I'm really just trying to avoid deaths. That was a pretty good swoop in to dodge that Power Vacuum. I gotta get a grip here too. So it's nice. One of the main reasons I like friendly nameplates, helps us maximize grip. You know, if I see, I think I have a grip coming up on the Death Knight. If I see the red one way off in the distance, like right now, help him over. But I don't just like freely throw the grip. I kind of watch and wait until he's, you know, clear of the balls. That's what she said. There was an evangelism just to top. I'm running quite low on mana. Oh shit. So I might at this point start thinking if he's at 35% and I'm at 20% mana, that's kind of how I think about it, and I'm not in a good spot. So I might try and start playing a little more conservatively here. Mind Blast before the grip, just to get it rolling. Unloaded penance on the run. Now we're in Execute. Beautiful, seeing it turn white. And just play DPS Priest. Watching for anyone with high stacks. Paints up on top of his astral thing. Evangelism for the Mind Blast. And that was it. 20 Algeth'ar Academy, 0 deaths, 0 avoidable damage taken. Pretty easy overall. Everyone did what they needed to do. I think there was only a couple missed mechanics. You know, we can see that in the avoidable damage. But thankfully, I guess it was nothing fatal, or hopefully they were at least having a void shield on. But thanks everyone for watching. Looking forward to the patch and playing some Voidweaver instead of Oracle. Oracle's a little bit boring if you ask me. But big shout out to Better Blizz Plates, Ellesmere's UI for my raid frames. My action bars are just action bars. Let's see what else. Xboss for trash timers on nameplate, invaluable as a healer. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Metafy for all my WoW coaching. And until next time, Disc out.